good deck builder. So there's,
no,
I'm sure there's some theory behind it. I mean, sometimes they do exotic, makes exotic deck choices, but he has a ton of colorless lands too. I mean, this is that Seattle style that you see where he's got 4 Kessig Wolf runs. Because he wants to get, he's used to playing against people who have Ghost Quarters and such for his land, and just combining it with cards like Wormcoil Engine. Like in Seattle, they always figure that the guy who's got 3 Wolf runs has the advantage over 2, and they just want to go all the way up. And with so much colorless lands, I mean, Buried Ruins, Kessig Wolf Run, Inkmoth Nexus, and notice 4 Glimmer Posts. Kind of hot, right? It makes his Primeval Titan have a very different element. But the point is that when he's playing 13 colorless lands, plus a Ghost Quarter is 14, and a Mountain is 15...
His mana's awful.
He's only got 10 Force and a Rootbound Crag for green, which is why he plays Coppermere. His mana's not as bad as it looks, though, because he doesn't actually have very many green spells. He's got Sphere of the Suns, which is 4 more sources of green. So he does have 15 natural green early.
Yeah, but like your bird is not really a turn 1 play.
No, it's not.
That's why you only play 1, maybe.
That is why he only plays 1, and why he has the Coppermere instead of the Llanowar Elf. He literally is this is the robot style that Travis Wu likes. But he's got Sphere to turn it on turn 2, and Solemn to turn it on, because lots of the time he just won't have any colored mana, or the Solemn is that necessary second green for the Primeval Titan. Meanwhile, he's going to face against the deck that we've already seen today, but we're very excited to see again. Lewis Kai is playing that blue-red, the tempo sort of deck. The Delver Secrets, Stromkirk Noble, Galvanic Blast, Brimstone Valley, Vapor Snag,
Yeah, and Vapor Snag's pretty good in the blue-red decks.
Yeah, so he's going to be, it's kind of interesting because you can tell that he kind of wanted to play against, this has got to be the matchup he wants to see, right? Where he puts on a quick clock, they can't get rid of his guy, and then he just nurses it and protects with counterspells. He doesn't actually have that many counterspells, though. But he does have Flash Freezes in the board for even more of that. Plus, Steel Sabotage is going to be nice here.
So is Manic Vandal.
So Liu Kai has Grim Lovemancer, and is that Stromkirk Noble on 2?
He pondered into the Stromkirk
Noble. Yeah, he ponders into the Stromkirk Noble. Wow, is that the 1 Viridian Emissary?
Yeah, that's so good here.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's about the best.
How many do you need, right? Wow, so good. So, Vapor Snag's actually really nice here, not just because of buying the time, but getting the second card for the Grim Lovemancer. Or, and leaking on the way down if he wants, just to keep the pressure. Thing is, Liu Kai is going to run out of cards in his hand pretty quickly.
Yep.
That's why I always wonder about playing cards like Nurok Commando or Curiosity in decks like this, because I really want to try to...
I love those cards.
If you can get ahead, then you start snowballing. But, all right, so maybe it's like a Stephen Colbert type of thing, like a French pronunciation. Corbett Gray. That sounds like a high-end champagne. Some Corbett Gray. It looks like the Emissary is just going to come back down. You think he eats the leak for sure?
Yeah.
Seems like he's got to, right?
Yeah, otherwise he can't really...
It's a time walk anyway. It's like a Rampant Growth, and it costs 3 points of damage because it stopped the... Oh, Palladium. That's just going to eat a Grim Lovemancer activation.
That's just going to eat a Lovemancer activation. He's not going to...
That's so much worse.
Yeah.
All right, it resolves, right? I mean, why the hell not?
Lukai's not going to run out of cards if he gets to just use Lovemancer.
It is sweet to have Palladium Mirror against these, against the green-white decks that don't have very much interaction. Because consistently this deck is playing Boom Booms every turn 4. Every turn 4, some kind of a giant monster comes down.
Oh, the Glimmer Posts. Yeah.
So, despite the... And you know what? It's actually not too bad. Because, he played the Palladium Mirror earlier, cost the activation, and he knew he was going to just get the Emissary leaked anyway. So this way he was slightly more mana efficient. Which I don't think is necessarily bad. Like the Palladium Mirror might not even eat the shock later. Stromkirk Noble, meanwhile, showing just how great he is against people who don't have removal or blockers. Titan or Wormcoil? It is Titan first. Snapcaster the leak? No, I'm sorry. So, this is real bad for Lou.
Yeah.
2 Glimmer Posts adds a very different dimension to the Primeval Titan.
It does.
Yeah.
Suddenly he's at 17.
That's one of the, I mean, like, they're not just doing this for nothing. Like, they're paying for it by playing cards like Copper Mirror and so on. But there is an upside. Like, they are definitely getting some value out of, you know, some of these exotic lands they're playing. I think it's very cool to Primeval Titan up Buried Ruin, you know?
So do we know what both of these players' records are? Are they X1?
They have to be X1. I mean, Liu Kai has, we saw him lose earlier on camera. So I assume he's got to be, these guys are both X1, right?
I was not here when Liu Kai lost.
Oh, that was the match for you?
I must have.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's right, because I asked P. Sully about Curiosity in the blue-red deck. Absolutely. Which obviously you probably don't know also, because you're not P. Sully. But. Stromkirk Noble combining with Grimmaw of Immense Activation to take down the Titan, but this means that Blue is almost entirely out of gas. And Corbett, yeah, they are X1. And Corbett has a bazillion land, and surely any other boom boom he drops is just going to totally win the game on its own. I like Corbett's chances.
He's at 12?
He is probably at 16. No, not even 16. I bet he's at, oh, he is at 12.
Yeah.
Oh, Brimstone Volley to the face. Yeah. Just taste it, sure. Which Glimmer Post undid. I mean, he's gained 7 life.
Is that another Titan in his hand? So that's just got to be it, right?
If it's Wormcoil, it's it. I mean, I think if he's got any spell in his hand that costs 6 or more, it's... Yeah, I think we're going to see Primeval Titan. And we do. So he certainly gets another Glimmer Post, because why the hell not? Does he get the Kestic Wolf run in Glimmer Post? So illegally searching for 3 different lands, which, you know, you can't even look for 3 lands. I see people do this all the time. You can't pull 3 land out of your deck, put it in the front of your deck, and then decide which 2 to get. It says expressly in the 4 rules you can't change the order of your library when you're searching it. You pull the cards out. Which matters when there's a Panglacial Worm in Magic. No, because if you have Counterbalance, the top of your library has to stay in the same order. And it's, I mean, it just, you know, it doesn't really matter, obviously.
In Standard, it's absolutely irrelevant.
But it's the rules.
It is the rules, you're right.
All right, so we see a Glimmer Post and a Kestic Wolf run, right? Or is that a Nexus?
That's a...
I can't tell. I think he got a Nexus.
Ruin.
No, he already had the Ruin, I think.
Okay.
Either way, obviously, he has a commanding position. Primeval Titan, a bazillion mana. And this is from those experiences with Modern, where you're like, you know, you're playing your Cloud Post deck and you've got some Glimmer Posts, and the Zoo player can just never beat it. You get to thinking to yourself, you know, why not try this in Standard, you know? It's a pretty sweet deck.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a really sweet deck. People like colorless mana.
And then you're like playing against Mirror Crusader is that you just have so many robots. You have just so many Battle Spheres and Wormcoils and so on.
And I mean, you still beat control decks, right? Not as strongly as the other decks. Like, yeah, like you don't have the redundancy.
You're a little inconsistent.
You don't have Garrett.
You're not where you're not where you want to be against Callblade. You're not good against the Blade decks, sadly. And you're not good against the hyper aggro decks, the decks that are really fast, like Tempered Steel or something. But you have a lot of threats, so you can try to attrition. Thing is, you don't even have. I mean, you have like 13 Yeah, I mean, you've only got 13 cards that the counterspell decks need to counter. And they have more than that. I mean, they've got 4 Mana Leaks, 4 Dissipates, you know, like on Negate or something, and 4 Snapcasters, not to mention they're drawing more cards to you.
Oh, I know.
But you do have 4 Kestic Wolf runs, so every guy can be a threat. Which is something, you know.
Yeah, so that's 9 from the Battle Sphere, plus that's 15.
Yeah, I mean, this one's a done
5.
deal. Like, Lou doesn't have cards in his deck that are capable of dealing this kind of damage, right?
I don't think so.
And they pack it in.
Man, Corbett Gray.
Corbett Gray.
Sweet deck.
Can we get a judge's ruling on the pronunciation of Corbett Gray's first name? The Oracle text, please. Definitely like his style. An exotic Wolf Run ramp deck, the Wolf Run Robots, or whatever it is. I don't know. What did Travis call it? It's like something robots, like Mono Brown, Wolf Run Robots, something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's a Travis Wu.
It's definitely, yeah, it's definitely.
He loves to brew too, so you're right.
Travis
there are
Wu
many
brews a
brewmasters.
lot of exotic.
Yeah.
Oh, I think one of his bullets made top 8 at the last Pro Tour in Philadelphia. He was playing Travis Wu's through the. I think it was Travis Wu's Through the Breach deck. Number of people playing Through the Breach, obviously, in Cloud Post Emerald decks, but he's most notable, I guess, deck building wise. People always think of Living End because of his Grand Prix finish. And obviously, well known for apologizing for how great the channel guys are. But a very strong deck builder from the Seattle area. And looks like one of his, not sure if Corbett is one of the players from the Northwest region and just made the trip, or if it's somebody who, you know, has seen Travis's stuff. Because Travis made one, somebody made top 8 of Seattle States with this exact style of Wolf Run robot deck, you know? What are we going to see out of the sideboard?
Okay.
Like you've got, yeah. What's Corbett's sideboard here? He's got
a Tree of Redemption.
The Tree of Redemption for sure.
And Thruns.
I mean, maybe Thrun. Maybe.
I bring in Thrun against red.
Why not? Like it's a for sure block.
Like
maybe. Does he have something to take out though?
And Palladium Mirror.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of the mirror. You could probably trim some of the mirror.
Yeah.
Like your deck's got so much mana anyway, and all they do is eat 2 points of damage or 3
Beast
points.
Within's pretty miserable against them too.
Beast Within's something. Yeah, I guess you just bring in cards that are playable.
Yeah, like
you have to keep some of that action. Maybe no, you don't really want Tumble Magnet either. Yeah, Beast Within's so bad. I guess you probably take out. You probably keep Copper Mirrors for costing cheaper. Take out like a couple Palladium Mirrors and couple Beast Withins.
And you bring in like maybe you bring
a couple Thruns.
A couple Thruns and a tree.
Maybe
extra spheres.
An extra land because you're taking out the Palladium Mirrors. Because there's 2 Ghost Quarters in his board. He could just put another land in.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. That's fine.
Because he's only got 25 land main deck. There's nothing wrong with bringing extra land, for sure.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lukai is going to be bringing in Manic Vandals, Flash Freezes, surely the extra strong Kirk Nobles, the Steel Sabotage.
You know, that's something that I actually have long theorized will eventually become something of a norm in Magic, is that a lot of different decks may want 1 land, even if it's not for any particular matchup in their sideboards, because there are a lot of times where I want to have 26 lands in the play, and I want to have 25 lands in the draw.
I've played land in my constructed sideboard in half of the Pro Tours in the last 3 years.
Yeah, oh, well, that's awesome. High five.
No, I'm with you 100%. There's so often
I think that's
where
something that's really big that is not really something that's part of most people's repertoire in deck building.
Sometimes there's really good lands that you want that are good, and it's lands that are good against control often, because control matchups are often where you want extra land anyway. Or you have cards in your sideboard that do affect your mana base. Like I know that in Pro Tour LA last year, Pro Tour San Diego last year, I played Plains, basic Plains in the sideboard of our blue-white deck, just because 1 and an extra land against control anyway, but it helped smooth it out for games where you played Core Firewalker. Like if you boarded against Mono Red, you could take out a Tectonic Edge and bring in a Plains. Sometimes you would take out 2 Tectonic Edges and bring in a Plains, and be down a land. But
you're siding in Firewalkers and taking out expensive spells.
Right, so Corbett, and he would like to give a shout out to Travis Wu. Oh, we've definitely given Travis Wu, exceptional deck builder, and in this case,
TDW?
the designer of Wolf Run
Darian
robots. So we have the turn 1 Noble, facing down a turn 1 bird. Obviously, it's the only bird in the deck, so why not have the one of?
Yeah, and it gets played on turn 1 with only 10 mountains.
10 forests, yeah. Rather. So the Stormkirk Noble, though, is going to be absolutely devastating. Do you think he has the 1 Viridian Emissary here?
No.
No. Okay.
That was pretty funny, but it was.
So Stormkirk Noble is, like, that's a built-in 6-turn clock.
Yeah.
A built-in 6-turn clock, that's better than Wild Nikotl if you play in somebody who cannot interact with it. He goes and gets basic Mountain. It's really interesting. What is he going to play that he would want Mountain for? Blasphemous Act?
Did he sideboard in Blasphemous Act?
Like, it's not Ancient Grudge, and he has no other red cards. He can't possibly be thinking of activating a Kessig Wolf Run anytime soon. I guess if he already has 2 green, he doesn't even have triple green in his deck because he doesn't have Baroque, so why not, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm personally hoping for a little blasphemy. Shout out to Tom Martell, our expert on blasphemy. Tom Martell and Matt Sperling, 2 of the game's greatest blasphemers. So another Stormkirk Noble hits the table. What does Corbett got to do here? I mean, like an acceleration spell doesn't really matter because it's like dropping 6s and 7s, but he needs to, I guess, not get double. He needs to not walk into 2 counter spells, right? Like if he's facing Mana Leak, I mean, if he's facing Steel Sabotage and Snap, but I guess he doesn't have double blue. But
for 4, what is
run
it?
for sure.
Tree.
You think he's gonna get the tree? Oh, because he blocks 1 Noble and buys himself 1,000,000 life.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable. And he holds off the big Noble forever.
Mm-hmm. But a Vapor Snag could be
brutal.
Exactly.
He does get the tree though.
No Vapor Snag.
Yet.
That was a blue card.
That was Delver, I think.
Yeah, it did cost 1 mana, so.
I think it's Delver. It is Delver, but it's going to get a damage and a counter on one of the Nobles.
Yeah, so it's not a Vapor Snag.
Fortunately, trees have not yet been errated to humans. The Delver drops. I like that the tribal interactions in the set are... Like, there's some nice, interesting tribal interactions without it being so completely parasitic and over the top. Like, I think it's cool that, like, if you're playing Reckless Waif and Stormkirk Noble as your 1-drops, it hoses the guy who has Victim of Night.
Yeah.
You know? Or if the Insect or the Pilgrim can't block Stormkirk Noble. Snapcaster Mage too. I love all that. It's really
it's these nice little interactions.
Things where it's not screaming out to you. Unlike
not Lorwyn, where everybody's
check,
playing precons.
Do I have any fairies? All right, I guess I time walk you with my undercosted 4/4 Flash Flyer.
Yeah.
So Tree of Redemption is active now, which is a big game. It's definitely a big game. Lou trying to fight through it. That's a lot of life, and it's a big blocker. Does Lou have Revokers? He does not have Phyrexian Revokers. I know Patrick Sullivan was speaking the virtues of Phyrexian Revoker in Mono Red, specifically for the tree. I'm not sure it would be too bad in this deck, you know? But it's hard. You can only have so many, I mean, obviously, Cyborg cards. And he's already got a lot of sweet ones to bring in this situation. So the tree, giving Corbett the extra life and Blasphemous Act to kill everything. Well, he did have the Blasphemous Act that we talked about. It's kind of interesting, blowing the Blasphemous Act now. Could you have waited a turn? I mean, maybe if he just has land Wormcoil in his hand, then maybe this is the most efficient way to do it, you know? well, the blue's mana's tapped, so you don't get stuck.
Yeah.
And there's, that's not too bad, especially since like, okay, even if he didn't have the mana, I mean, he just wanted to play around the blue mana because he really wanted to make sure that resolved. He didn't want to get caught, with his if he gets his act countered, then it would be sad times because that's almost all of Lou's counterplay, right? Like, there's all those guys. Definitely liking Gray's chances here, right?
Yes. He's a massive favorite right now. It's going to be really hard for Lou. In general, this is just a really bad matchup for Lou.
I've still not been impressed with these counterburn decks. Between the inconsistency and the you always run out of cards in your hand that do anything. I can't even imagine playing against Arc Trail with counterburn. If you play against the guy who has Arc Trail. Alright, so we have Wormcoil Engine joining Solemn Simulacrum and Copper Mirror and Palladium Mirror. Oh, there's Mana Leak. A day short and a $1 late, I guess, is not how it goes. There isn't any realistic counterplay here for Lou, right? Like,
no.
I mean, like, he's...
Blasphemous Act.
Doesn't even do it. Like, the Wormcoil...
The Wormcoil just kills him anyway.
Like, I guess you act of treason... You have to somehow steal the Wormcoil and then sack it and then get the guys, right? Like, that's...
Slave of Bolas.
Even if you just had active aggression and Manic Vandal. But you don't. Pretty sure this is going to be all she wrote.
Sweet deck.
Definitely. Plus, this blue-red deck's kind of cool, too.
Yeah.
If it just had the
both
mana,
these are pretty
and
sweet.
I guess... I keep thinking it's an Ancestral Visions short of greatness. You know?
Yeah. Chase the Mind Sculptor, short of greatness.
Like, if it could just draw more cards than other people.
Maybe Neurot Commando is just good in the deck.
I suggested Neurot Commando to Patrick Sullivan when we were watching Lou play earlier. I really think that, like, I love the idea. Like, I remember a blue-red deck you built a while back, and I actually ended up playing some similar decks that was like Mana Leak, Neurot Commando,
And then
Burn! And Jace's, of course.
Okay, so Lou went ahead and played a Snapcaster Mage. He's just chumping. At this point, the match is over.
Right. I mean...
Yeah, Corbett has won the match.
Yeah,
Lou
so
has no cards
Corbett,
in his
well,
hands.
I guess this is one of those things where we're watching to see if Corbett starts cheating in the next turn. Barring that, it looks like he's going to pull it off and just... so steals Vapor Snag, bounces the Wormcoil, and Kessig Wolf Run powers up the Copper Mirror, and that's game.
Yeah. That'll do it.
So speaking of the really interesting story we were talking about with the Neurot Commando, that deck was sweet, right? Like Jace the Mind Sculptor,
Yeah.
Mana Leak, Neurot Commando,
Yeah, play Jace.
and then